Hello, is this thing on?
I think it's playing.
Testing. Wait for it. Touchdowns and tangents. Taking over the 99s and 2000s is a fantasy football championship. We don't make the rules, but we know who doesn't make the rules. Especially, when you
you're talking over our beat right now.
I know, but guess what? We beat the number one seed, so I'm talking my shit.
So now you're lumping me into there. You're bringing me on your coattails.
This is actually episode 261. I don't know how that got fucked up on the rundown. It's my fault. It's a numbering issue, but it's okay. It's 261.
So are we gonna intro it?
I feel like you could just hit it because it's almost over. Yeah.
What's up, good people? Live from the Good News radio station in Los Angeles. I'm PD Camarillo.
I'm Kenneth Frank James Barry, Bartholomew third.
And we are Touchdowns and Tangents, your Thursday night spot for NFL takes and topical tangents. It's been a pretty interesting week post-Christmas. I was just telling Kenny, it's actually why we're late. We're having a compelling off-air dialogue about the beginning of life.
The existential crisis of life, where it begins, and what if we're just erasing all our ancestors' carbon footprints by existing? Thus, we will then erase future generations of proof of people existing, and then they'll eventually erase our proof of existence.
I think it's really just the century-old, like, human existential crisis of, like,
by the way, go live on
why are we
StreamYard.
here? Why are we here? And then one person was like, why does it matter?
That is true.
Just an ongoing back and forth of like, well, it doesn't really matter why we're here. Like, we should just live versus, well, we should understand how we started so that we can understand where we're going.
Yeah.
I'm not high enough for this conversation, but yeah.
I get that. Also, it's like, you can only know so much. Like, most people don't really know their great-grandparents.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, I barely know all my grandparents' names. And I don't even know my biological father's side of his family like that.
It's just with what we do know about human essence, human institutions, like, we know they lie. Like, we know they act like an absolute sort of authority, but the truth is, like, the only absolute is that we really don't know.
You mean
and there's too many variables, and when you talk about theories and absolutes, you're talking about a margin of error that's like millions of years. So we never will really know, but does that mean that it doesn't matter? Or does that mean that it matters more because we've been trying to figure it out so long?
I think the only way to answer that question is to figure out why you're here individually. I've kind of been like wrestling with that on and off this year, like worried about other things in my life when it comes down to it, like how deep can you get inside of yourself to know yourself? And I think the more you examine that, you kind of figure out at least what you're supposed to do. Because somebody's either going to tell your story or they're going to tell a fraction of your story. But realistically, you can't really tell somebody's story. Like John Madden. One person can't tell John Madden's story. There are millions, arguably everyone on earth, you could say, has been affected one way or another by John Madden and his impact on football and video games and all that, one way or another. That's every third person. Like, let's talk about it. Human beings, like, that's the way we find purpose, is to figure out what impact did we leave when we were here. And like, so you can't really focus on what's the grand scheme, because none of, like, the grand scheme, I feel like when we were talking about success a while back, like, success exists as its own thing, and it's an ether. Like, it just exists, and you find what success for you. You find your place amongst that. You don't necessarily create it because it exists with or without you. It exists outside of you. So I feel like all that, like human nature, just creation in general, that exists outside of you. You're just a part of it. So you just figure out what your piece of the puzzle means. And some people live their whole lives and don't figure that out. So just try to figure out what that means to you right now and try to live to impact people positively. And I think when it's all said and done, somebody else is going to be there to tell your story, or they won't. But you don't really have control over that.
I've just learned to be skeptical anytime we're like, oh yeah, we know this, we know that, because it's like the way we are set up, our nature is to try to understand things that are too complex. Like, yeah, you can give me the theory of migration and evolution, and like it makes sense for sure. I'm not arguing that, but also like, who are we to say that it makes sense? I guess is really the undermining question of it all. And I'm not using that as a cop-out to just be like, oh, yeah, nothing is real. But, like, at the same time, nothing is real.
Like, nothing is real and everything is real all at the same time.
Exactly. All right, so with that, let's get into it. You already talked a little bit about it. John Madden, the legend, the NFL, one of the greatest. Can we call him one of the most winning?
The winningest coach.
Head coach.
So the winningest head coach of all time that has at least 100 wins. He has the highest winning percentage of any coach, over 100 wins. 725, 735. It might be 745. I forget the exact number, but it's in the mid 70s, 700s. Went to Super Bowls. Literally had 3 Hall of Fame careers. Went to Cal Poly, by the way. Played football there. Was on that legendary San Diego State coaching staff that had Joe Gibbs. I want to say Don Coryell. Like that whole coaching staff was ridiculous. But yeah, he literally, John Madden was a Hall of Fame football coach, a Hall of Fame commentator, and arguably a Hall of Famer when it comes to his impact on Madden, the football game, and its transformation. Like, he was there for you could say it's inception, and then he took it to a whole nother level, and then he watched it flourish, then he watched the game pass him by, and he always championed it. And then it got to the point where, like, if you were on the all Madden team, they gave him, like, leather jackets and trophies and all that, and you heard players coming out talking about it, like Warren Sapp. Like, that meant something. Like, to be on the all Madden team was almost as great as being an all-pro. Like, that almost meant more because I think he was a student of the game, a teacher of the game, and you respected him, and you respected the apparatus that he created for players. That's why everybody still gets mad about their Madden ratings, because of the fact that, like, that's a standard that he set.
Well, I think, and you kind of touched on it a little bit, but the idea of video games in the 80s and the 90s was just like really nerdy, and it's only until recently, probably like the past 10 years, that gaming has really gone mainstream, and some of those connotations have been done away with. But at the time, it was a really nerdy thing, and so to get somebody like John Madden, who, as you mentioned, a well-respected coach, player, worked his way up in the coaching ranks, broadcaster, to get someone like that to co-sign you at that point was major. And then from there, literally living in everyone's dorm room, bedroom, like living room.
Relationships got ended because of Madden.
And relationships got built. Friendships got built. Like, teammates got built. I'm sure championships were won after Madden tournaments. Like,
there was literally a show on TV about them doing like Madden tournaments on a bus. The black dude in Arizona Cardinals jersey got kicked off the show because he punched somebody. But
even that's
TV.
Like, that's the early mainstream adoption of esports, and then but even bigger than that, it's like that game really helped video games cross over mainstream because it did away with some of that stigma, and all of a sudden the jocks and the athletes, now they could play video games too because they could play sports games. And then it became a situation where the games have gotten so advanced and so realistic that, you know, there's so many different ways to play. You can play beginner mode, you can play advanced mode, you can learn it and help you with your own game on the field and training, and it's just, and even if you're really that good, you can make money playing people, playing in tournaments, like, and that all started with just a cosign. So you take that,
and he's the greatest video game announcer of all time.
Take that, and then you combine that with the 2 Super Bowls. No, he won one. He won 1 Super Bowl. He lost one. He beat the Eagles. Wait, did he beat the Vikings? Yeah, he did, huh?
The Raiders definitely beat the Vikings.
But was John Madden the head coach, or was it Flores?
Wasn't it Al Davis was a head coach one year?
Nah, he wasn't the head coach when they won the Super Bowl.
Okay, it was Flores, Madden, because Flores won 2 Super Bowls, right? So, yeah, Madden was the first, I think.
But, yeah, so, I mean, the thing is, when John Madden got hired, Al Davis really kind of took a chance on him. He was really young, somewhat green, as they would call it, and he was really kind of a hothead. He was kind of fiery, redheaded. If you go back and you read the stories about those teams, that's what they always talk about. They talk about, like, his temper, like, how red he would get, but also, like, he was really composed. He was really chill. He was a player's coach. Even though he dressed up preppy, which I always liked, I was admired, I thought was cool. He really had a way of resonating with the players in ways that a lot of coaches, especially at that time, could not do it. And that's the thing, and they've all talked about it, is like John Madden was the perfect coach for those teams because those teams were all crazy for multiple different reasons. You had people showing up to training camp on fucking horses, like, and it took a guy like Madden to understand, like, hey, we need to get the crazy out now. These guys need to be able to party. These guys need to stay balanced because it's a long season.
And I mean, cocaine and free love was rampant in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Let's just be honest.
But yeah, he also took chances on veterans because he wanted to have that depth to help them rest to get through the season. Like he really is like a modern day football coach that really kind of came on before his time, and it was so fast, and then it was just over, and I think that's also why I really respect him because
he revolutionized
he was always a
commentating
Raider.
on television too. Like him and Pat Summerall, like he really revolutionized sports broadcasting, and especially like the way he would just explain things. Like I would just listen to him talk about Brett Favre, and it made me have even more respect for his career because it's just like, and then you know what he would say, boom.
Damn, he has 16 Emmys.
I'm saying, bro, like the stuff he did on TV, and I think his last broadcast was the Arizona Cardinals Pittsburgh Steelers Super Bowl. If I'm not mistaken. Like when it comes to John Madden, like hell, I wanted to play football as a kid, but my grandma literally like threatened my grandfather with divorce and threatened to disown my mom. Like he will not play football before he gets to high school. I don't want him getting hurt that young, and he physically hasn't developed yet. Like he's still growing. Like no, but my family was big Raiders and Niners fans. More Raiders than Niners because you know, for obvious reasons. My grandfather actually tried out for the Raiders, but he got cut because he had asthma, and back then, you know, They just didn't have the medical technology. So, in that regard, like, my biggest connection to football was watching it and then playing Madden all day. Like, my mom always made sure I had the newest editions of Madden. I started playing Madden, I'd say 2001, but like when Marshall Faulk was on the cover, from that point on, I was hooked. And I learned so much about players' names, backgrounds, things like that. That's why, like, I always just had I have like such a repetitive memory when it comes to like that part of the football side of things. And it was because of John Madden and like the way he would like the training camp tutorials were, honestly, they should bring that back. That was some of the best parts of Madden. They've kind of gotten away from it, which is unfortunate. But like the way he did it, it was so simple, but there was so much to do. There were so many details. Like, it was just right. And I think
the other thing is, like, when I think about Madden, that's crazy to me. It's like beyond all the crazy personalities of the badasses, like, he also had to deal with Al Davis. Like, and having that sort of a maverick and that sort of prolific owner who's actually worked his way all the way up to be an owner, like, that's a lot to manage. That's a lot of ego to manage as well from both sides. And that's ultimately why he stepped away from the game in 1979 due to deteriorating ulcer condition and occupational burnout. So that's how far ahead of his time was. He was talking about burnout in 50 years ago. But yeah, he never had a losing season. He only won one Super Bowl with the Raiders as the head coach, but lost a lot of championship games to the Steelers. And I think one to the...
Was one of those the Immaculate Reception, which
and
allegedly was allegedly the ball hit the ground.
Yeah, the deception. The Immaculate Deception.
That's what everyone said. Everyone who was there says the ball hit the ground. That wasn't a Steelers fan.
But yeah, in 1978, he missed the playoffs, which was like one time in 10 years, twice in 10 years that he missed the playoffs. Yep. So he only missed the playoffs 2 years. His worst season was 9-7. That's a fucking commitment to excellence. That's a just win, baby. Not 3 years of 8-8.
Or 8 years of it's my fault. You could put that one on me. Yeah. 8 years, bro. 8 years. We're putting it on you. You're the common denominator. Khalil Mack's gone.
But yeah, R.I.P. John Madden. He lives in all of us Raiders fans especially, but really, if you're even adjacently connected to football culture,
hell, if you like
you gotta
2K,
pour one to John Madden.
If you like 2K, you got to give John Madden props because he made other sports video games step their game up with how he did things and the announcing. Like, you think of Mike Breen when he says bang, but John Madden when he said boom,
Bing bong.
Fuck your life. But nah, people don't realize like how big some of his catchphrases were back then. Him and Al Michaels, which is crazy. Like, to think that it was him and Pat Summerall, then him and Al Michaels.
Like, yeah, he was on every network.
Like, you can't. If some dumb bitch had something foul to say about John Madden on Twitter, she's like, "Oh, we're celebrating a man who pretty much created a game that allowed so many other people to get CTE, and we're championing it." And then she's like,
wow.
"I'm qualified to talk about this." Oh, yeah, I sent the tweet. I sent it to Phil. I thought I sent it to you, but it was like, "Oh, I'm qualified to talk about it because I fucking played Powerpuff football in high school. I was the monster back position, and I played rugby." And I was like, "Bitch, none of those things have nothing to do with football. What the fuck is a monster back in Powder Puff, which isn't even a real fucking thing? It's just us letting girls play fucking flag football and teaching you the infrastructure." And I don't know who the fuck came up with the name Monster Back. That doesn't even make sense. And you playing rugby don't have shit to do with football, which technically rugby is a much more violent sport because there's no padding and it's just everybody.
Yeah, but it's different because, like, you don't have that.
The tackling technique is better.
You don't have that fourth wall of fucking padding to fall back on.
And you're also like
if you
not getting
smack
blindside
someone
blocked.
with rugby, like, you're gonna feel that for sure.
Yeah, I got kicked in the head when I played rugby. That shit hurt. I blacked out.
Rugby was lit.
It was fun.
I was almost on the team.
Yeah, I got a score called back because I was showboating. I fucking Deion Sanders high stepped it. I was like, it's not my fault, y'all. I broke a 30-yard run on you hoes. But yeah, like different game. But yeah, just when people want to like come onto that, I'm like, oh, you got participation trophies for being the 5th place team in your league, didn't you? It's you motherfuckers in cancel culture society who just, I can't stand y'all. Like, y'all just come out and say, nobody asked y'all to speak. You ain't really watch football like that, but you got to have this fucking holier than thou opinion on some shit you don't even take part in. That's weird to me. Like, if I take part in it, if I'm a part of that culture community and I have something to say, I'll say it. But if I'm just like, you just gotta say something foul about a man who just died, nobody has anything bad to say about John Madden. No fucking body. Literally no one. And here come stupid ass people. But, you know, like I said, his legacy's gonna live on forever. Like people talk about Madden, they don't even realize they're talking about John Madden. Like, oh, Madden's trash now. It's not what it used to be. And what did it used to be? John Madden had some say in it. EA Sports, all that. But it's like, you know, they should put him on the Legends cover if they haven't already done it. He should be on it, and then they should bring back all the little training camp games. But like, I mean, the technology's better now, but like, they should actually consider bringing those back because that shit was cool. But hey.
Can we talk about the postseason now?
Yeah, there's no Thursday night football.
Yeah, so the AFC continues to thicken. The Denver Broncos pretty much pushed themselves out with a loss to the Raiders last week. Raiders still have to win out to have a chance. They got to beat the Chargers and the Colts. See if that can happen. The Colts, I don't know, man. I don't want to see the Colts. I don't think there's any team that wants to see the Colts in the playoffs.
They're pretty much the 5th seed right now.
Because having that sort of running game and their defense has just been slowly getting better throughout the year.
And they got just enough receivers to get it done.
And Carson Wentz only needs one game to be Carson Wentz.
And honestly, no one has an answer for Jonathan Taylor.
Really, nobody. There's
not one person. He rushed for 100 yards against Arizona, and they still pretty much.
I mean, he's the best running back left right now, right?
Yeah. The crazy thing is,
I mean, Joe Mixon's probably second. Eckler's
probably
Najee
Harris now. Najee Harris might be top 15 for sure.
But I'm saying of the playoff teams right now,
Steelers are not a playoff team. Don't even form your lips.
They're in the mix.
They're not a playoff team, bro. They have a fucking tie. They have a tie. The Raiders have literally a mathematical advantage over every team left, except the Patriots. But even then, like, if they went out, they're in the playoffs. There's nothing stopping them if they went out, which is amazing. This feels like the Hugh Jackson year all over again. But they'll find a way to lose to the Colts, and they're not beating the Chargers. I said 7-10. Okay, they'll go 8-9.
I just think it's crazy that it's literally just the Chiefs sitting up at the top, and everyone else is kind of in that 9-6, 8-7 range. Right now, let's see. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 teams with 6 or 7 losses. 11 teams if you include the 8 lost teams. So those teams just kind of push themselves out. But that's wild. There really is parity in the AFC this year. We'll see about the Chiefs, though. Moving to the NFC, the Cowboys clinched the spot. The Rams clinched the spot. The Cardinals clinched the spot. But they are below the Rams now. I think the Rams can win the division.
They just have to win out because the Cardinals are 10-5, and they have the.
They've lost what, like 4 or 5 or something? 3 or 5?
Damn it, definitely 4 straight. Because at one point they were the number 1 overall seed in the NFC, and now they're pretty much going to limp into the playoffs.
They lost.
They played Dallas. They played Dallas and Seattle to finish out the season. And the Rams, I mean, I'm not really convinced that they've hit that next echelon yet. I still think they want 0 problems with the Dallas Cowboys. That's not really. Stafford tends to choke in the playoffs. We can't forget that. Even though he hasn't been there much. Matthew Stafford is Matthew Stafford. Sony Michel, surprisingly, is having a resurgent year with the Rams.
Which I called it.
I mean, tell everybody who had him in fantasy football for 90% of the season. Darrell Henderson's out, I think, 3 to 5 weeks. He's hurt. But
signing Sony Michel was always the championship move. That was always a move for the playoffs.
Yeah, and then Cam Akers was designated for return last week.
This man is off of Achilles in 6 months?
5 months.
That's wild.
Cam Akers.
Don't fuck up the money, bro. Don't do too much, please.
And he was doing some drills, and he actually looked really fluid.
I know, I saw it, but I don't know. That's really fast, man. That's really fast. So other teams in the NFC, basically the top teams are the Cowboys, the Rams, the Packers, the Bucks, division leaders. After that, you got the Cardinals who are in. The Eagles are next at 8. The Eagles and Niners are next at 8 and 7. And then you got some other 7 and 8 teams, the Falcons, the Saints, the Vikings are technically still in it, but honestly, none of those teams really have a chance. Like in the NFC, you're dead ass just talking about those top 4, maybe 5. If Arizona has D-Hop.
And honestly, yeah, I'm surprised A.J. Green's been such a bust. Even though he has, I think, almost 800 receiving yards. But I think Cliff Kingsbury, because, Kyler Murray's ankle's kind of messed up, but they got to get him back design some plays where he's rolling out, because he was not looking great against the Colts.
See, I think what I'm worried about is, like I said, the NFC is so top-heavy, and the AFC is just kind of like the Chiefs and everybody else. We thought maybe the Bills would be there, but they can't run the damn ball. So that's kind of been their Achilles heel. So yeah, it's shaping up to be an NFC year, except for I worry that those 4 teams are just going to beat up on each other, and a lesser champion will emerge, and before eventually getting their ass beat by the Chiefs. Or it could go like last year, and the Chiefs get there and
get the shit stomped out of them.
They haven't been tested enough.
I don't think the Chiefs will win in the Super Bowl this year. I just don't see it. What's different? How are they better? The offensive line, okay, is gelling, but the running backs are all banged up. So already you can't run. They're the same team.
Well, Tampa's not better.
Okay, yeah, Tampa's not better, but Green Bay is. Green Bay has an elite defense. Like, people really don't want problems with the Packers in the playoffs.
And Dallas, too.
And if Dallas is actually the most dangerous team.
Bursting themselves.
Yeah. They're the most dangerous team as long as Micah Parsons and Trevon Diggs stay healthy. Because no one's been able to block him all year. But that's what happens when you're 6'3", 246, and you run a 4.35. So, it's a shame the Raiders couldn't trade up. but they'd probably be too stupid and not take him anyway. But imagine how the Eagles feel knowing. I
think this is kind of a tangent, but just in general, the whole idea of like, oh, we need to take a quarterback, we need to take a receiver, we need to take a left tackle because we need to jumpstart this rebuild. I think that's kind of a lie, right? Because we saw it with Chase Young last year, helping the Redskins make the playoffs. You saw it with Nick Bosa. You saw it here. Like sometimes, if you see it with Parsons. Like you get the right defensive player in the right system, and it can really make all the world of a difference. So yeah, don't be afraid to take a defensive player in the top 5.
Especially when he has generational talent.
Because otherwise you're going to be kicking himself when he falls out the top 10.
I'm just trying to figure out who the fuck in their right mind thought Clelin Ferrell was a good... Why do people still defend Clelin Ferrell?
He's not that bad, bro. He's not that bad. He's playing better. He's not that bad.
You know what that's like? You know what that's saying? That's like saying, you know what? Yeah, she gave me herpes.
Nah, it's not.
But at least it was from a cold sore, not actual herpes.
No, that's not the same thing at all.
Bro, how many sacks does he have this year?
Not that many. He hasn't even been playing that much.
And how many years ago did he get drafted?
3, 4.
He is the biggest failure out of every draft picked in that class. Tell me who's worse than Clelin Ferrell out of everybody in that draft class. Henry Ruggs is still a better player than Clelin Ferrell. He was on pace for like 1,100 receiving yards. You sit up here and like really look at it. Like, I don't know who was smoking PCP when they fucking drafted him. But like, I could have told you just from watching Clemson play his whole career, yeah, he's not that guy. He's a good backup. He'd be perfect on the Patriots. Might have a Pro Bowl season there, but he was never. He's the 4th best player in the draft. Like, that shit to me will haunt the Raiders for like the next 10 years. He's the Michael Olowokandi of draft picks.
Daniel Jones?
I'll say that shit to his face, bro. Nah, Daniel Jones at least actually had a somewhat decent rookie year. I'm like, bro, I don't know why the fuck
Rashawn Gary's looking better this year.
Rashawn Gary is looking like their best pass rusher. So, again, they could have took Rashawn Gary. They could have took Rashawn Gary at 4 and I wouldn't have been as mad. At least he was playing D-tackle running a 4.5.
Andre Dillard?
I mean, he's pretty close, but...
he's pretty bad, too.
He cried.
He's pretty bad, too.
He cried. Like, you're a grown-ass man. You're a grown-ass 6'6", 300-pound man running a sub-4, 840, crying like a bitch. And then
DeAndre Baker?
He's on the Chiefs, and they're winning.
That's what I'm saying.
He's on a winning football team. He's on the team that was in the Super Bowl last year. He got from the Giants to the Chiefs, and he beat the case. So, yeah, he's winning.
Titus Howard?
He's actually pretty good for the... He's just banged up. I think he's on IR. But he was banged up for Houston. He was actually a pretty good player for Houston. It's just their offensive line is so terrible. Eventually, like, everybody else regresses because that line is so terrible. Go ahead. Name somebody else in the first round.
I can't believe Devin White hasn't made a Pro Bowl.
Because they're stupid. Yeah, he's the worst draft pick in that class. And at least Tyus Howard went like near the end of the first
20s.
Round.
Yeah, in the 20s.
Like fucking this dude went 4th. Wait, was Justin Jefferson in that draft?
No, but AJ Brown went 51.
Who went like in the after 20? Because I know the Eagles had a couple picks. But you can't...
Noah Fant, Darnell Savage, Andre Dillard, Titus Howard, Josh Jacobs, Marquise Brown, Montez Sweat, Jonathan Abram, Jerry Tillery, L.J. Collier, DeAndre Baker, Caleb McGarry.
Oh, shit, Jerry Tillery?
And
Tillery?
N'Keal Harry.
Okay, he might be. He's on par with N'Keal Harry. Actually, no, N'Keal Harry's better than him. I think N'Keal Harry at least caught a touchdown this year. But boy, oh boy, he's the worst pick in that draft. And he actually went fourth, so he's he has to be the worst pick. Because everybody else who went in front of him is like damn near an all-pro. Or a Pro Bowler. So my thing is, you look at the NFC, you look at the AFC, the Colts could shock one of those teams, but they don't have the firepower to shoot it out with anybody. Because Carson Wentz is...
Yeah, they'll fuck around and go to the Super Bowl and lose.
Badly. Get blown out by Aaron Rodgers. And then we got to hear about how he's a fucking victim. And then he wants to quote MLK. Dog, I just need white people to stop quoting black people like when your ancestors probably helped lynch black people. Just don't. Don't quote black people when your ancestors probably was one of the white kids standing at a tree with a black dude who had his nuts cut off. Don't quote MLK. I don't need to hear it. Aaron Rodgers went from being one of my favorite people to oh my God, please shut up. You're a male Karen. He's slowly approaching male Karen status. He's approaching annoying soccer mom status. He already has the hair. I get it. Your pinky toe's broken. Shut the fuck up. We understand. But, so, you want to... Oh, yeah. Also, the Niners, the Saints, and the Eagles are all vying for the last two spots. Now, the funny thing is, if the Eagles and the Saints went out, the Niners are out of the playoffs. Even though they were pegged as the fifth seed, who was just undoubtedly going to make it, but they...
How is Dick Vermeil not in the fucking Hall of Fame already?
Who?
Dick Vermeil.
Really? He's not in the Hall of Fame? Wow, that's disrespectful as fuck.
He's in the seniors class.
That's disrespectful. I mean, Cliff
Branch.
Cliff Branch isn't in the Hall of Fame because the league don't like Raiders, but that's a whole other story. That just amazes me how they just won't put, dudes who need to be in the Hall of Fame. But
yeah, real quick, the other 15 finalists, I don't want to spend too much time on them because half these people will probably get
Steve Smith
out.
Sr. didn't make it, which is disrespectful.
Tony Baselli is the sixth time of a finalist. Richard Seymour, his fourth time as a finalist. Devin Hester makes the list as a returner.
He should get in. Do you think he should be first ballot returner? Or do you think he should be forced to wait?
Yeah, I think he might have to wait.
Do you think he should be forced to wait, though?
I don't know.
If you beat Deion Sanders' record and you're the greatest returner of all time and you literally change the landscape of returning, you get a special pass for first ballot. But I wouldn't make you first ballot because T.O. didn't get first ballot. So how can T.O. not get first ballot but Devin Hester does?
Jared Allen should be in. Willie Anderson should be in. Rondé Barber should be in. Tony Baselli should be in.
Should Rondé Barber be in?
Leroy Butler. Yeah, I think Rondé Barber should get in.
Because Rondé Barber is definitely better than John Lynch. Just want to point that out.
Richard Seymour. I mean, he's on the fringe, but I wouldn't be mad if he got in. But he also played for the Raiders for 3 years, so he probably won't get in.
He had 10 sacks for the Raiders 1 year.
Yeah, he probably won't get in because of that.
Leroy Butler.
Reggie Wayne should get in. Patrick Willis should have been in.
Well, he just retired.
Nah, he's already been retired 7 years.
It's been 6 years?
Yeah.
The fuck?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yep.
Kuechly's just retired, and they came. Damn. That's crazy, bro.
Yeah, why isn't Zach Thomas in?
Because he's short and the Dolphins never won anything.
I guess.
I mean,
Brian Young, I always forget about him.
Yeah, he had great numbers. Yeah, Sam Mills should already be in. Leroy Butler should be in. I don't think Leroy Glover's in. D-tackle / DN. He had 17 sacks for the Saints. There's a lot of cats who just are falling by the wayside and history's forgetting about them. And that's unfortunate. But yeah, I would definitely put Leroy Butler in. If you're gonna put in Steve Atwater and John Lynch, then Leroy Butler has to be in. Like, it's disrespectful that they're not in. But Steve Smith Sr. should have made this list.
Leroy Glover's from San Diego. I didn't even know that.
Yes, he is. Willie Anderson should be in. People bullshitting. People bullshitting. I mean, I get why Takeo Spikes probably won't make the Hall of Fame. I mean, he was great in a lot of places and definitely has the stats to back it up. But you can say the same about Carlos Dansby, and they're not going to put Carlos Dansby in the Hall of Fame.
London Fletcher?
He should be, but you're not Ray Lewis or Brian Urlacher, so they didn't give anybody else the credit, even though all those guys' numbers are comparable. Well, actually, Carlos Dansby has probably the biggest case to be like, look, my numbers are just as good, if not better, than Ray Lewis and Urlacher. Definitely Urlacher. Not really Ray as much, but
yeah. Zach does too. He has great numbers.
But he played for the Dolphins.
I remember last time we had this talk. Last time we talked about Zach Thomas, I pulled up his numbers and you were like, really? Those are his numbers?
I knew he had great numbers, but I mean, you tried to say Keith Brooking, and I had to shut that shit down because I was like, Keith Bullock better than Keith Brooking.
I still don't agree with that, but okay.
Well, they cancel each other out, so neither one of them getting in the Hall of Fame. But yeah.
All right, so moving on to college football.
Marcus Ware, yeah, I just don't see how.
DeMarcus Ware's already been retired for 5 years?
Yeah. All I know is they better put in Steve Smith Sr. on the next ballot next year because that's some bullshit.
Definitely.
I'm sorry, but I'm taking him over Michael Irvin. Say what you want. That's why I would take at least 10 running backs over Emmitt Smith. I can name 10 running backs better than Emmitt Smith.
All right, man. Go to college.
And you know I can. You tell me Adrian Peterson wouldn't have better numbers on the Cowboys.
Danian Tomlinson?
Bro, obviously. Obviously. You just named the easiest fucking person. And he did it he made the Chargers relevant. That's how great LT was.
Priest Holmes? Is he better than Emmitt Smith?
Jamal Charles was.
I don't know what.
Jamal Charles, get the fuck out of here, bro.
That's a hot take.
That's not a hot take. Those are facts. Go look. He was a third-round pick too, and he played for Texas. He played on a national title team that beat USC. I'm over here championing for a player from Texas, the Longhorns. Do you know what that means? Jamal Charles was the greatest running back in Chiefs history.
Wow, hot take again.
He put up 6 fucking touchdowns by himself against the Raiders. Who else was doing that?
All right, college football.
Marcus Allen was better than. Marcus Allen was definitely better than Emmitt Smith. But anyway, so 5 bowl games got canceled. Probably 6 upcoming because, COVID. And teams are like, everybody's hurt. We might as well just go home. What's the point? But the biggest, Boise State backed out of the Arizona one. But the biggest thing was UCLA backed out 4 hours before the game. By the way, the Pac-12 is I think 0 and the Pac-12 hasn't won. They're 0-6 in the last 6 Holiday Bowls. They do not have a great record in that game.
And the ASU is losing the Vegas Bowl 20-6.
Well, that's because most of their starters, most of their best players opted out. So there's that. So UCLA
bowl games don't matter anymore, and we should just have a big ass tournament.
Well, because of COVID, they don't matter anymore. But cats were always going to sit out now.
That's what I'm saying. So COVID just made it.
No, because fucking Ohio State, their 2 best receivers is sitting out the game, and guess what? The 3 receivers that are going to be playing.
What I'm saying is we've already
all 5 stars. They were the number 1 receivers in their class.
What I'm saying is we've already been talking about how players are opting out of bowl games for various reasons over the past 3 years, right? We've been talking about that. Yes
Yeah.
or no? Yeah.
That don't make them useless.
Okay, but I'm saying now with COVID, people are really starting to be like, well, maybe they really don't matter. Maybe we can just take our ball home and go home and fucking worry about the safety of our kids.
They lose money, but no, COVID restrictions are making people decide, like, yeah, do you really care about the kids, or is this just like now? North Carolina State should be pissed off because they got screwed by UCLA. Like, they decided Monday they said they were going to play the game. Tuesday they decided they weren't, and then at 10 a.m. UCLA packed up the whole fucking locker room and dipped. Didn't say anything. They gave 4 hours notice, and North Carolina State and a bunch of people came all this way for the Holiday Bowl. And Dave Duran, the head coach, was like, the NCAA's pretty much, they're dumb and they don't know shit. That's pretty much what he said. I forget the acronym he had, but it was really dope. And he's right, because you can't sit up here and tell me that if it should have been a forfeit and they should get their 10th win, because this would have been their second 10-win season in program history. Like, this was a big year for North Carolina State football. And then finished 9-3, but he's like, we should get that win and it should be a forfeit, because we had zero COVID issues. I knew Chip Kelly was going to have issues when he had 4 plays out. UCLA has 15 guys transferring. Like, I talked about it this past couple weeks. They've had at least 10 guys transfer since their last game of the season. Damn near 15. Some of them went to HBCU. Some of them already picked up their schools. But I think they've lost 20 guys to transferring already. I don't know what's going on in UCLA right now with Chip Kelly, but some things are going on. So you factor that in. You factor in that reports came out, shout out to James Williams, that reports came out that the players took a vote and they wanted to play, but the medical staff and everything overruled them, so they didn't get to play. Then you factor in the fact that they gave North Carolina State 4 hours notice after they came all this way. Yeah, it's bullshit. And I'd be mad too. I'm not going to scrimmage my players so they can get hurt. Like, no, this was supposed to be, they earned the right to play this game. So I think bowl games are good, and it's really you're not making the national championship, but you can still be a championship level program. And there's some teams with losing records in these bowl games. Hawaii had to pull out after they got the bowl game added. And it's unfortunate. SEC's 1-5. The SEC is 1-5 in bowl games. The Mountain West is 5-0. That's a record for them. Dakereon Joyner, wide receiver out of South Carolina. They beat North Carolina 38-28 in the Mayo Bowl, which is the worst fucking bowl game ever. I know somebody white put that together. A fucking mayonnaise bowl. Now, Shane Beamer, the head coach for South Carolina, first they hit him in the back of the head with the fucking mayonnaise jug. Then they dumped all the mayonnaise over him. He's like, it's disgusting. It was horrible. Like, why would I want to get mayonnaise dumped on my fucking head? Nah, this is when I would have Nick Saban energy and just cuss everybody out in the room. Be like, you're all fucking stupid. Why would, have a bacon bowl. Have a Bahamas bowl. Have a fucking, shout out to the Chick-fil-A bowl. I'd be like, I want unlimited 30 counts. I want nothing but fucking 30 counts and ice cream ready to go when I hit the locker room. Can Wendy's get a bowl game? Can Jack in the Box get a bowl game? I don't know how McDonald's doesn't have a bowl game. What the fuck? Can we get a Hood Chinese bowl game? Bro, let us come with some names for bowl game. We'll get you some motherfucking sponsors. Let's get the mom and pop bowl game, and we'll just pick 20 hood spots.
The Bumble Bowl.
Bumble? That's sick. The fucking
the
Grinder Bowl? That's sick. That's a fucked up name. Imagine the Grinder Bowl. Imagine what's the other one?
The
straight version of Grinder. I don't know why I'm forgetting.
Tinder?
The Tinder Bowl. There's
the Roblox Bowl.
The fucking HIV negative bowl. There's
the Calm App Bowl.
The Browsers Bowl. I'm telling you.
Smart News Bowl.
The Pornhub Bowl. I'm telling you, bro.
The Spreaker Bowl.
the fucking the good news
LinkedIn Bowl.
The Good News Bowl.
The LinkedIn Bowl.
The LinkedIn Bowl's good. Oh shit! The fucking Zoom Bowl.
The Yelp Bowl. The Cash App Bowl.
Oh man, the fucking Venmo Bowl.
The TikTok Bowl.
You ready for this one?
The Goat Bowl.
The Spaces Bowl. The Clubhouse Bowl.
The StockX Bowl.
Ah, it's fucked up. The NFT Bowl.
The NFT Bowl. Yeah.
That'd be lit.
All right, so Take Your Tangent is next.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's literally the national championship. I had to look up to see it. I was like, I can't hear shit. Imagine if my mic was muted the whole time because I was looking at that.
Wild.
Why is that muted? Why is that muted? You just realize that's why. You're like, oh shit, maybe nobody can hear us this entire time. Did you just realize that? Do you want to unmute that? Go ahead and just hit a button up there.
Holy shit.
This whole time I was like, why is that red? So we couldn't hear it, but everybody else did?
We were on that. I mean, we were on YouTube. For sure.
Shout out to the Get Right, because we might have just had the same kind of thing happen. Now I'm just traumatized thinking about that Taylor Rooks interview.
All right, anyways.
That went to a dark place.
Take Your Tangent. Go first.
So Patriots running back Brandon Bolden admits that he had cancer in 2018. He's like the third Patriots player to have cancer and then come out and say years later that he had cancer while he was playing. Because Nate Soldier had testicular cancer.
What's up with players like hiding their cancer struggles?
That's some wild shit. Like you would think that, oh yeah, like your teammates will support you, but that's some bullshit. Like you don't have to be alone in that regard. Like that's some heavy shit. I guess it's some
vulnerable masculinity stuff. Like
this motherfucker had cancer,
not wanting people to feel sorry for you,
and the coaches obviously knew. Belichick, I'm assuming, knew. And they've had Marcus Cannon had cancer. Yeah, it's like 3 Patriot players who have had cancer openly. Like Marcus Cannon had cancer, beat it. Bolden had cancer, beat it. Nate Soldier had cancer, played through it, and didn't tell nobody. Also, you got to respect Belichick, man, because people can say what they want about him, but when 3, 4, 5 of your players have cancer and you manage to keep that shit in house. I mean, look at Teddy Bruschi. I think that's, he has a soft spot for his players. So you can't really ever say he's not a player's coach.
All right, next up.
Another one.
I'll do this one. Trent Williams, tackle for the 49ers, opens up about beating his own terminal cancer diagnosis. Take your tangent on that, Kenny.
I read the story. That shit was heavy, bro. He's still having his beef with the Redskins and how they handled that shit. Like, they wanted him to come back. And he's like, bro, I had a fucking terminal cancer diagnosis, like a growth on my head. They had to fucking take a chunk of my head off. He couldn't sweat for like months.
He's on the ASU staff?
No, but he's friends with Marvin Lewis. And he's the Grambling State head coach now.
Go ahead. Sorry.
But yeah, so Trent Williams, when he was recovering for like 18 months, he literally couldn't sweat after he got that surgery. And getting his body back in shape and then becoming pretty much the best left tackle in football again.
It's scary to me because it's like these are world-class athletes who have world-class healthcare and resources, and it's like they can't even scrape by cancer.
Cancer almost ended him. It was a growth on his fucking head. And it almost, I think in like another couple days, it would have metastasized in his fucking skull. That's what's the scary part.
All right, last one. Fantasy football playoffs. I got eliminated in the second week.
You're out of all your leagues?
I'm done.
You know who
You're
isn't
still going?
You know who isn't
in a free
done?
league?
In a free league and a paid league.
Wait, you're in the championship game of both your leagues?
2 out of 3.
Really?
Yes. I'm that fucking guy. What up, man?
I don't know about that, bro.
Bro, I made it. Bro, COVID almost knocked me out of the playoffs in one league, but because I beat so many people.
So are you going to win the paid league?
Yeah, I'm hoping. I'm going against Cooper Kupp. But Dak has been hot. My role players have been hot lately. Amari Cooper was hot. Antonio Brown was hot.
If you win.
Yes. Fuck yes. All I'm saying is...
Actually, we should just say that for the Shrine game and fuck it off in Vegas.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say a strip club in Vegas because I didn't want to incriminate myself, but yeah. That's where I'm saving all my money. My birthday month is just going to be that. But yeah, in a paid league, in a championship game, they didn't believe Jordan, Brandon, y'all talked all that shit. I knocked out Jordan, number 1 overall seed. All I do is beat the top seed. And by the way, I was like the number 1 overall seed in the league for like 6 weeks. But COVID and injuries, Darren Waller has been pretty much fucking dead to me. I've been stuck with Mike Gesicki. If I didn't have to fucking play a tight end, I wouldn't. Shout out to A.J. Dillon. He ain't going to get team MVP, but he's damn near up there. Chase Edmonds. I managed to get the Rams defense. I have the Packers defense. I don't know who I'm going to play. I'm probably just going to lean towards the Rams because who are the Rams playing this week? Shit, they're playing somebody trash. And Kirk Cousins just finds a fucking way to just put up numbers on the Packers defense, and I can't risk that.
Ravens.
They're playing the Ravens, and Lamar Jackson, I'm pretty sure, isn't playing. So I'm hoping the Rams find a way to shut that shit down as far as them running the ball, And also, the league where I'm playing for 5th place, I actually had the most talented roster and didn't make the fucking playoffs because of COVID and just bad scheduling and timing. That shit's ridiculous. I'm still mad about that. I lost the championship game last year because fucking Alvin Kamara decided to score 6 touchdowns in a game, and then I fucking lose, and then the next season I come back and I'm out of the playoffs. Some bullshit. I'm going to get my championship in that league. I'm owed that. Like, fuck that. It's coming. It's coming, damn it. And We Don't Make the Rules podcast. Yeah, I was quiet most of the season, but guess what? Touchdowns and Tangents taking over the 99 and 2000s is in the fucking fantasy football championship. Yes, I know that name sounds stupid and terrible, but guess what? Now, since we're in the championship game, and when I win, you have to acknowledge me. I'm going full Roman Reigns. I'm going full Roman Reigns if I get this victory. In 2 out of 3 leagues, bro, if I get 2 dubs, holy, man, I'll talk so much shit next year. Yet? Yeah, we can move on.
All right, so first off, for touchdown and turnover, Cowboys defensive coordinator Dan Quinn passed on the Jacksonville Jaguars head coaching opening. They reached out and wanted to interview him. So touchdown and turnover, Quinn passing on the Jaguars job.
That's another dumpster fire. I mean, that's definitely a touchdown for him. I'd stay with the Cowboys too. Shit.
At least now, try to get the ring first, and then
maybe he realizes I'm just better off as a D coordinator.
And there's probably going to be other jobs opening up soon. Might as well hold out. Don't go for the first one.
That Arizona job.
We all know how fucking that Seattle coaching tree to Jacksonville worked out last time.
Doesn't work at all.
All right, next up, Aaron Rodgers says that he won't rule out retirement after this season. He's just enjoying this year, but is already thinking about kind of what's next. So touchdown or turnover, Rodgers addressing his future amid probably his best season.
Man, they got to get it. He has to win a Super Bowl before he retires. That would just be the saddest shit ever. He's arguably the greatest quarterback of all time. I would take him over Tom Brady.
Well, what's funny
because if Tom Brady didn't have all those defenses and Belichick, he's not winning that many Super Bowls. We can just cut that shit out right now. Like, no, if he played for the Buffalo Bills, Tom Brady would be a regular fucking guy.
And nice little segue here. Big Ben Roethlisberger, one of your favorite players of all time, says he's preparing like Monday night is his last home game as a Steeler. So touchdown or turnover. Big Ben feeling his mortality.
It's a touchdown. This is probably the end of the Mike Tomlin reign. If they want to get rid of him, I don't know who you're going to replace him with.
Derek Carr?
I mean, yeah, but like I'm saying, Mike Tomlin and Ben Roethlisberger, this marriage is over.
I mean, at this point, they've gotten to the point to where they're winning in spite of Big Ben.
Exactly.
And so now they have to do something. The O-line needs a makeover. It's needed a makeover for a while now. And
Pouncey retired and the line fell apart.
The receivers are still kind of all over the place, even though they have a lot of talent. They still don't really have like an identity.
Their defense is just wasting their prime years.
Which is what they were waiting for like 2 years ago.
Minkah Fitzpatrick, T.J. Watt. They got another guy. I can't remember his name. But, like, you're wasting the prime years of this defense. You're wasting whatever Joe Hayden has left. You're wasting it.
I guess.
You're wasting Devin Bush. Yeah.
Next one. Hold on. Also on the Jaguars, Doug Peterson, former Eagles head coach, won a championship with them, is reportedly going to interview with them. Touchdown or turnover?
I think that's a touchdown. Cause
is Peterson a good coach?
He's mid, but at least he's a QB coach, so he might help Trevor Lawrence. But honestly, they're probably going to save Trevor Lawrence, they might have to just ship him the fuck out of there and get a ransom. Like, if I'm the Raiders, I'm like, we'll give you Derek Carr, Josh Jacobs, and pretty much a first, second, and third.
Fuck no, that's a lot for Trevor Lawrence.
For Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne.
Bro.
Fuck that. It's a rebuild, bro. The Raiders have to blow that team up.
It's a lot.
The Raiders got to blow that team up. They got to blow that offense up.
It's a lot. All right, last one for me.
I'd rather have Trevor Lawrence.
Last one for me. Speaking of shipping people out, this one's going to hit you close to the heart. The Panthers are going to end up starting Sam Darnold. Cam Newton will be the backup. I think that's what happened last week, right? Or 2 weeks ago?
He got benched. It was not good.
And he got benched, and then Cam came back.
It was bad.
So it's been a mess. But touchdown or turnover, Sam Darnold getting the start this week.
It's a turnover, bro. Throw the whole QB room away. They're going to have to draft a QB.
Damn. What's crazy is...
Wow. Fuck, that hurt.
What's crazy is Sam Darnold replaced Teddy Bridgewater twice, and neither time was he better.
Neither time was he better.
Wow.
And the worst part is, this is probably going to be Cam's homegoing. I think he's done. He's just not the right fit for that offense. They're wasting DJ Moore. They're wasting him. Christian McCaffrey's hurt. That offense might have to get blown up too. Defense is developing, but like, I don't know what Cam has. Like, I don't know where else Cam works. Maybe Houston, where like play action bootlegs, you throw deep to one guy. It's a predictable offense. Unless
put him in Baltimore, let him be the gadget guy there, like RG3.
But he would have to
worry about.
He would have to be
Lamar.
A backup, and if he goes to Baltimore, that's too much like admitting that it's over. And I don't see Cam being a backup when Lamar gets paid there.
All right,
maybe Arizona.
Last one. You can do it.
All right. So Kyle Pitts for the Atlanta Falcons, who are somehow still in playoff contention. As bad as they've been.
I think they start off like 1-4, but they've lost a lot of close games. They're kind of like the Vikings.
I think they lost to the Jets. Kyle Pitts is 128 yards away from breaking Mike Dicker's rookie receiving record for tight ends. He has like 960 or 970.
I just think it's crazy that that's held up for so long.
And he's the fourth overall pick.
We've seen. But it's crazy because a lot of people were talking about like, well, we don't know. You don't really take a tight end that high unless you're like for sure. And there's
a wide receiver. No, he's a tight end for sure.
And with all the athletic, sure thing tight ends we've seen over the last 5-7 years who've kind of busted out the league, could have went either way, but so far it's looking pretty good. He's as advertised.
That's why they got rid of Julio.
People said he was the number one talent in the draft.
He was.
Period.
The fact that he went all the way to 4th. Imagine had the teams ahead of him took him.
All right, so get to the rants. You want me to go first or you want to go first?
I'll go first.
All right, go ahead.
Seem
kind of melancholy today.
I don't want to end melancholy. That's why. So Mike Golic, former Notre Dame player.
How'd you skip that one? Forgot about that.
I was just like, fuck it. I'll just say it. I'll just start it off. So Mike Golic decided to dip a fucking Oreo into a vat of mayonnaise. And that right there really just described 2021. White people doing unnecessarily nasty shit. That's the tweet. I'm just tired of it. More importantly, I got.
You know how much like unlearning fat people are gonna have to do now because of that one social media broadcast event?
Like he did that, and it's like he set fat people back 379 years.
Yeah.
Now
you're already out involved in that combination. Like, you think you're the first motherfucker to think of that?
Who the fuck?
No, we don't do that for a reason. Like, we know better.
It's like you don't want like your girl having like dick sucking videos out there in the world.
He probably puts Oreos on his ham and cheese sandwiches.
He probably puts canola oil on his Oreos and fries them, and then puts mustard in between. Like Midwestern white people, if that's what they're doing, like bro, y'all gotta stop that shit. Like. There's so much wrong with an Oreo and a vat of mayonnaise. I would just throw the.
Think he's Midwest.
He went to Notre Dame.
He's probably from Philly, no?
I mean,
or New York.
I don't know where him and his dad are from. Where they're from Indiana. You went to school in Indiana. That's Midwest. You from that, dog. You spent college, formative adult years there, and you on national television.
Okay, so I'm from LA then.
I mean, you're born in Sacramento.
Well, you just said I just spent 8 formative college years here.
No, in your case, it's your childhood formative years.
Okay.
Now, as an adult, you can say where you're from, but where are you at?
I guess. Anyways, I digress.
Yeah, because like your formative years will tell me a lot about who you are at your foundation. Now, as an adult, where you are from, that tells me where you're at. So it's kind of a two-pronged thing. Like, if you only lived in the IE as an adult, and then you came out here to LA, and you say, I'm from LA, I'm like, no, you're not, you're from the IE. In your case, you're really from LA, and as far as your adult life goes, but you're like from a gangbang of just different places. And you were born in Sacramento. Like, I give my older sister shit because she was born in Long Beach, and my younger sister was born in, like, West Oakland, and I'm from East Oakland. And then I was laughing and joking when I was playing with Isaiah. I was like, Isaiah, don't get tough because you light-skinned and you were born in Torrance. Like, you know, you don't want these problems. At the end of the day, you were born on Hawthorne Boulevard, fam. Like, in Torrance. Like, you don't want the smoke with me.
You were born at the Delamo Mall.
Down the street, actually. Like, I could see Denny's from down the street from where you were born.
Hey, someone just got killed at Delamo Mall.
They really did a couple weeks ago. Like, it's hot over there for some reason. Stupidly. Yeah. Also, for those of you who are still kicking in Michael Vick's back, give it a fucking rest already. Like, it was a story that came out, the last puppy that was in Michael Vick's kennel died. Like, shut the fuck up, bro. Shut the fuck up. That dog was like, I bet that dog was like, nigga,
Shut up.
That's not even my story anymore. Why are you reminding people of like a bad phase in my life?
Talk about my puppies.
It's like,
talk about the puppies whose lives I've changed.
Talk about how dope I am right now. Like, that was a bad part of the story. It's like, yeah, I could get mad about what happened during No Way Home, but now I just have to accept for Peter Parker how he turned out at the end. Even though there's a lot of things that could have been prevented in that movie. But I'm not going to spoil it. That's not my place. But, yeah, fuck all y'all out here kicking in Michael Vick's back. But you didn't say shit about this chick who is Epstein's handler who just got sentenced. Y'all quiet. Fuck you, W. Kamai Bell. And all y'all still kicking in Bill Cosby back. You really need to give that shit a break. Like, for every time you kick in a black person's back, I need you to kick in 5 white people's back. Because it's really fucking easy to find 5 white people, celebrities, famous, out here with fucking molestation charges and shit that they're just skating by and not getting popped on. But y'all want to keep kicking in Bill Cosby's back. Like, get the fuck off it already. Like, there's no more money you can make from doing hit pieces on black men who've already paid their debt to society. By the way, shout out to OJ. He's off probation. Motherfucking congratulations. Like, for real. It's tired. It's really annoying, bro. Like, get off Michael Vick's dick. Seriously. Like, PETA, fuck y'all. Because fuck y'all. Like, I'm convinced PETA is just soccer moms and people who say they voted for Obama and really, like, get out. Like, I'm so over it. Like, he served his time. Hell, doesn't he own a dog now? Doesn't Michael Vick own dogs right now? His kids have dogs and shit. He's like trying to become a humanitarian. Y'all don't say nothing. I want y'all to interview the women that Big Ben sexually assaulted in that bathroom. And I can say that because guess what? He copped to doing some inappropriate, not so cool, maybe kind of violent shit in the bathroom with 2 women. And they took a plea deal. So I can say that and not say allegedly. Why don't you go track down the women who Big Ben did some shit to in a bathroom? Can we do an expose on them? Can we do an expose on all the people that Ryan Leaf could have potentially killed in a car crash because she was getting DUIs? You want to go track those fucking people down? You want to go track down every person that got scammed by Bernie Madoff and do a repiece on them? No, y'all don't even talk about that shit no more. But no, Michael Vick, dogs. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Some of y'all don't even like y'all dogs. Some of y'all don't even feed y'all. Some of y'all don't even like your own fucking kids. You know, get the fuck out of my face with the, oh, Michael Vick, the last dog died. Bruh. Why? I just want to know, like, how much pussy are you not getting in your life? How bad is your relationship? Like, how horrible is your existence that you just have to pull one last fucking Michael Vick dog story out your ass and then publish it? Like, that's trash journalism to me. That's just nasty, yellow, muckraking journalism. Like, all the positive stories out here, like, motherfuckers playing with cancer, motherfuckers out here giving their last, like, a boxer just got murdered in front of his kids on Christmas. That deserves more attention than you talking about a fucking dog that nobody remembers, specifically from a time in Michael. How about this? Go fucking have some heat for Michael Vick's brother, who was a fuck up, and all the people who snitched on Michael Vick. What are they doing? Are they criminals? By the way, dog fighting is still a misdemeanor in most states. By the way, fucking animals is actually legal in like 38 fucking states in this country.
It's not.
Okay, like 20.
I fact checked that.
Like 20? What was it, like 20 or 15?
It's like 15 states where it's not expressly
illegal. But all the other shit you can do to animals, it's legal in way more states. That's what I'm saying. And y'all, like, the worst thing that can be done, by the way, people who put animals down in the kennels every week, do you kick their backs in when they have to put an animal down because there's no more space in the shelter? Do you kick their back in? Do you call them murderers? No, you don't. And wow, the mic just really heard you fart all day. I'm done. This motherfucker. Happy New Year, dog. Yo, what the fuck? This nigga just farted on there.
Mature, bro.
This nigga just farted. No, bro. The mic picked that up. Small pass. No. I forgot what the fuck I was gonna say just now.
That wasn't even me, dude. That was a fucking chair.
That was you. That was loud.
Chair, dude.
No, I'm gonna tell you the same thing I told my nephew.
The chair,
you farted
dude.
like a grown man over here.
That was the chair, dude.
It was the chair. Chairs don't fucking make that noise.
I rocked back. Run the tape back.
We're literally live on the air. Like, oh my god, that was. Anyway, this man just farted on the air and then tried to play it off by not saying anything. You gotta cover up the noise.
Not Kenny fucking dry snitching again.
That's not dry snitching. I don't dry snitch. You dry snitch every week on this podcast.
We've had
for 6
people
months.
on the show.
I've not said anything
on the show.
We've had people,
agreed,
and we've had
you dry snitch.
I can't dry snitch about something that's obviously that happened in front of us. Okay. You be dry snitching about shit that's 3 years old that isn't even past the statute of limitations, and you said it on this podcast this year, and I just don't say anything because, I'm not gonna say nothing because I ain't no snitch. But you be dry. You're the dry snitch king, bro. You'll say some shit, and we all gotta pretend like you didn't say it and just move on to the next subject.
Because I actually have a good memory.
And that's the point of dry snitching. You just keep bringing it up. I'm like,
all right. So
but anyway,
can I go now?
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Shit.
God blessings to everybody. Fuck y'all. Find somebody else to pick on.
It's been a crazy week for me. I've been off this week. It's the first time I've really had time off during the holidays. So it's been pretty good to not have to try to fit in holiday things into work or working outside of the confines of whatever I need to get done for the holidays. So that's been pretty refreshing. That said, it's also what do I do? And then it's also kind of a weird time because I just started my job. So it's I'm getting a fucking halftime in the fucking first 5 minutes of the first quarter in football metaphor. So it's kind of weird, but I'm just trying to enjoy it and not overthink it too much and just try to get done at least one or two productive things that I need to get done. So that's kind of been my strategy to attacking it. Outside of that, Happy New Year. Yeah, this year was a fucking wild one because for everything that 2020 was, it was unexpected. It was unprecedented. It was wild. It was this year, we had so much more hope that things were kind of going to get back to normal, and they never did. We just kept kicking the can down until we couldn't, and then it just became a matter of well, how can we do the things that we know and like and love with this disease existing? There's no doubt about it. If you're in a room full of 20 people, there's a good chance that at least one person has COVID. And that's just the stats. Hopefully, in the next 6 to 8 weeks, everyone's either got it or is vaccinated and we can finally move past it. I'm not too optimistic because every time we've set that kind of timeline, another strand comes up and boom, back to square zero. So we'll see how it goes in this next year, but either way, I think 2022 it can't be worse than this year or last year. For sure it can't be worse.
Could you please not say that? Could you please not say that?
For sure it can't be worse than last year. And this year wasn't that bad. This year was kind of mid. This was a mid-year. I think
this was definitely better than this year was better than 2019.
But it was still kind of mid.
It was ass. It was an ass year, but it was so much better than 2020 that we just let it go.
Yeah, and honestly, I just want some new music because
Nas dropped an album.
Okay.
That was disrespectful.
I liked his last album.
Nas and Hit Boy.
When
King's
I listened
Disease?
to it the first 3 times.
King's Disease? Well, he dropped another one. This one's fire, too. Did you listen to the Roddy Ricch album? People said that shit sucked.
All right, so with that, thank you for listening. Shout out to Air Squad Affiliate. Shout out to FBC Radio. Shout out to the Good News app. Shout out to Courtside. Shout out to Just a Dope Ass Podcast.
Salute.
Shout out to the Get Right.
We love you, Get Right. That was Eric
some other
from Courtside Radio, who just pulled his gun out and started firing in your direction for no reason because it was a Thursday. I didn't even ask him to say that. He just went straight for the Get Right. It was so uncalled for. It was definitely extra. Like whatever the opposite of never not extra is, it was like always definitely extra. Like that shit was insanely disrespectful, and that's coming from us.
Well, yeah, be safe out there, folks. Take an Uber. Don't drink and drive.
Because Lyft will probably screw you over. Have a way higher Lyft rate, and it's raining, so just stay out the way.
And try not to get Omarion. Peace.
Or HPV.